What does fatherhood mean to you?
Fatherhood is about love and responsibility. Um, just to give you like a little background, my mother and father divorced when I was 4 years old.
Mm,
And I remember what it was like to be with my mom because my dad lived somewhere else. And it was interesting because her take was that anytime I did something wrong, I was his son.
oh
And
wow.
anytime I did right, I was her son. So it was like you're creating and you're collecting all of these different information, all these different terms and all this stuff as a child, trying to figure out what that looks like.
Wow.
And growing up around back in the day, some good male figures,
Mm-hmm.
cousins and uncles that, would help kind of fill in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
That helps me a lot and
Mm-hmm.
helped to kind of shape what I was looking at. Um, and I always thought of like parenting slash fatherhood would be the things that your parents did that were good and
Right.
maybe not so good. And
Right.
then now you put your kind of spin on it and you tailor it to your son or daughter or children.
Right.
Because I always felt like at some point there's going to be some therapist that's going to be very happy that I existed, and I'll be getting all kinds of Christmas cards, everything because of the damage my son might have thought I'd done to him. But overall, and I'll stop. Overall, fatherhood is also, anytime you're a parent or
Right.
definitely a father, it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
It's you're like it's almost like a fireman, like first one into the house. The
Right.
house is burned down. You first one in there. You're
Uh-huh.
surveying the situation. You're seeing how things are going, and then you're doing what you can to help as many people as you can. And you come out with soot on your face, and you're kind of tired, and all
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
And there's still like this level of expectation that, well, that's your job. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And very rarely is there a thank you unless
Yeah.
it's unless someone like prompts you.
Right.
For many years, I didn't know it was my birthday
Exactly.
until my mother or someone will say, it's your dad's birthday, right? And he's like, oh. And I'm like, boy, it's just the two of us. How do you not know my birthday? It's only the two of us. But, also the other part of fatherhood is you have to, as we know, you have to be basically a cornerback. You
Yeah.
have to have a short memory with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, to the point of understanding that your kids haven't necessarily come this way before with you. So they're trying to learn and they have, expectations put upon them by you, maybe mom, other extended and other family and friends. So they're trying to collect as much data and everything as well. So it's kind of like giving them grace
Yeah.
as you give yourself grace as, you're a new parent, you're a new father. You've got this little person that's depending upon you, and you're trying to do the best for them, and hopefully not mess up. So,
Yeah. So I mean, I want to something you said earlier in your story that was I kind of want to explore because I want to see the dynamic of that. You said your mother, shaped your idea. I wouldn't say idea because you was young at that time because nobody's thinking about fatherhood at that time. But the bad things you do were him, and the good things
yeah.
you do was her. How did that shape your identity in that
Uh,
process of
when
good
she
and
was,
bad? You know.
yeah, when she would say stuff like that, I kind of held it. I
Yeah.
never like threw it back at her or
Right.
looked for a gotcha moment.
Right.
But it seemed as a child's mind unfair
Okay.
because if he's not here and I don't get the chance to really see him operate,
Right.
how real is that? Like to me as a child, like how real is that? So you just kind of stay quiet.
Okay.
And if my mom at that moment is purging anger or frustration because not just because of something I've done,
Right.
bad day at work,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff. I was a kind of kid to kind of like just take it in. But I also knew at some point when I have a child, all these different ideas and memories I'm collecting, I'm going to make sure I make adjustments where I need to. For
Okay.
example, my mom would say to me, like, I'm your mother. I never have to apologize to you.
Okay.
And I told my son that, and I
Yeah.
said, listen, how do I raise you? When I'm wrong, what do I say? He said, Dad, you say I'm sorry.
Right.
I said, exactly,
Right.
because also being a part of a responsible parent slash father,
Mm-hmm.
you set the
Right.
and setting the example doesn't always mean when things are right. What if
Okay.
things are wrong?
Okay.
You have to be able to show your child what ownership looks like.
Yeah.
And that starts at home. Credibility, that starts at home. And I felt like it was it was instrumental for me to go through the things I went through because my mom, listen, I don't want to paint her as a bad
Oh,
person.
absolutely
Obviously, she's a
not.
person,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but what she went through
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to kind of sit with some of these things
Mm-hmm.
and decide, hey, if I ever have a child, I know there once again some great things she did, but I
Mm-hmm.
know there's some things I have to do differently
Mm-hmm.
because it's about while you're protecting your child, while you're
Right.
there to provide for them.
Mm-hmm.
You also need to have some kind of genuine relationship.
Right.
And what that looks like, in the very early stages can be carried through in the later stages outside of, puberty and they're with their friends and now they're feeling a certain way doing
Mm-hmm.
different things.
Mm-hmm.
Now dad is cool is when they were in second grade
Mm-hmm.
or first grade, not that man anymore.
Right.
And that's fine.
Right.
That's fine because you're playing the long game.
Right.
You're the 400 meter. You're instead of a 400-meter runner, you're the 1600-meter runner
Right. Yeah.
because you understand this is a game that's based on endurance when it comes to
Yeah.
your children
Yeah.
and setting the right kind of mold
Yeah.
where they will invite you
Right.
into their lives
Mm-hmm.
as adults.
So tell me this. You said your parents divorced at 4. And just to add to that, about
Yeah,
your mother, expressing two different, versions of who you are. When you right, you me. You wrong, you him. You know what I'm saying? So basically, but you realize too as you get older that there was a story behind that truth to her.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a story behind
And
that truth. But if it was told to you, you would have took it in differently instead of holding it.
exactly.
It's funny
And
how when parents feel like they're protecting you from those stories, but they don't understand that they're putting you in a position where you holding up more than you should because it's so much unknown.
yeah, I mean, and you say a word protection. I mean, I remember many times, I would tell my mom, even when I was younger, Bob, I said, just talk to me.
Right.
Just talk to me.
Yeah.
You don't need to all whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just you and I. Talk to me.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I'm trying to protect you
Yeah.
from the stuff I go through with
Yeah.
bills. I don't want to put it on.
Yeah.
And I would always tell her, I'm not going to crack. I don't need you to tell me your specific, like
Yeah.
personal business
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
relationship.
Uh-huh.
But you can talk to me.
Right.
And if you live with me, you understand I'm also built for this.
Right.
You don't have to be, because sometimes with parents, it's like it's a proximity thing when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you can also see your kids and understand some of your kids or one of your kids might have that kind of mindset where you can actually talk to them early about life.
Yeah.
I mean, my son used to talk to me, Dad, why do you talk to me like an adult?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, because there's no other way to talk to you.
Exactly. I'm actually putting on a show if I'm doing anything different.
Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
that's not gonna benefit you. And it's like
Exactly.
I would still grab him and hug him and kiss him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we even in relating,
Yeah.
I would talk to him like I was talking to you.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's like, son, I want to give you the blueprint to
Mm-hmm.
some degree,
Mm-hmm.
of how you should express yourself, of
Right.
how you have expectations of people express themselves to you.
Exactly. Exactly. And that really does go miles because even with my I remember my children, my daughter, I started. She missed all of that part. When people that 0 to 5 when everybody's trying to talk to them like they little babies. Now she was talked to like she was a grown adult. The time because she just had that type of mindset and just like her mind. She was very focused and very serious, so she was ready for that type of dialogue. So and it you can tell how she conducted herself from the time she started going to school that she knew how to communicate to adults.
Yes,
And that was
yes.
that.
Adults pick up on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Adults pick up on
yeah, and they pick up on that. So that was one of her advantages. You know what I'm saying? To stick out, know how to express herself, know how to have self control, know how to be patient. Know how to voice her opinion and timing. All those little skills. You know what I'm saying? Was learned at a very young age. And you're right. A lot of times in our parents, thinking they're doing good by protecting and holding things back and not telling the full story, it becomes a hindrance later on. And
it.
kids get frustrated when they get older and they be like, man, if I that's information I could use right now.
Yes, yes.
you know, from your experience, you was definitely intentional about this thing. You know, and
Yes.
because it's a lot of us have a lot of people have had backgrounds like you have parents have divorced, split up, have lost a parent, single parent home, and them having their first child and building their family, that intentionality, what I'm saying, was an afterthought. It's
Yes.
something how and it's no right or wrong. It's how the different routes people take when they go through trauma,
Yes.
the different responses. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong. That's why I don't get into the judgment game. When it comes to that, because people's like, oh, you turned out so well. Well, that's from your perspective, from this thing that you value. You know,
Yes.
because I've I've seen other people's like, well, this is what it is. So I'm just gonna focus on myself and my career. They have amazing careers, right? Got problems at home with they kid. But well, this is my response to
Yes.
that trauma. You see what I'm saying? That was good. That was good for me, right? You know what I'm saying? The relationship I could imagine with your son is to die for.
And it is. I mean, he's a good boy. I mean,
Yeah,
excuse me, young. Just turned
yeah,
21.
yeah, yeah.
And just a little backstory for everyone. So what happened was, his mom and we were dating for about a year and a half. We got
Mm-hmm.
married quick. I
Right.
just knew she was my.
Yeah.
She two-time cancer survivor
Mm.
prior to us getting together.
Right.
When she was pregnant, we met with the obstetrician. The obstetrician said, "Listen, there's a chance that your cancer will start up again because of the birth,"
Oof.
and that did happen. So we went through cancer off and on 3 separate times. The fourth time was when it metastasized to the brain tumor, and when
Mm.
they found it, it was too large to do something called stereotactic radiation. So they
Mm-hmm.
actually went in,
Mm-hmm.
invaded, and cut out the tumor. So
Mm-hmm.
this was all happening roughly November. She went to the hospital October 31st of '09,
Mm-hmm.
and did surgery like in November.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went kind of up and down. The beginning of December
Mm-hmm.
was in a like a rehab home for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then then about the 24th, I was going to gym to work out. I called she was in her room. I said, "Hey, I'm going to the gym. I'll be just a few hours. She's okay. So yeah, Mr. Govine, she's fine.
Right.
So I just put my phone away, worked out for about an hour and a half, bunch of calls. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So I called back. They said, oh, you didn't call this morning. I'm like, I did call this morning. I said, what's going on? She went cold blue. She went cold red. She was gone. We pulled her back. She was gone for 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
I rushed. I rushed to the ICU, and she's there, hooked up to
Mm-hmm.
machines. And I just like looked at her and I said, "Hey, baby, we've been through a lot worse. We gonna get through this."
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing she did is she shook her head like no.
She knew, huh?
And yeah, so she basically waited for me.
Oh wow.
And what had happened was going back before all this. My son, my mother came out for my son because he was 4,
Mm-hmm.
and he got to see her in the rehab home before she took him to South Carolina for Christmas.
Okay.
So he get at least a last chance to spend time with her, and he got into bed with her when she was in her bed, and she hugged him, and it was
Mm-hmm.
scene. So she basically went brain dead, like
Mm.
the 26th. And the 27th, 26th, I called my pastor, called
Yeah.
friends, they came by to visit. And the 27th, I took off life support. He
Oh.
came home the 30th, and my mom came with him. I picked her up from the airport. I said, sit down on the couch, son. I got something to tell you. And he said, Mom died? I said, yeah, Mom died. And that was like one of the only times I seen him cry,
Mm-hmm.
because at the funeral, he didn't even cry.
Mm.
But his birthday was the next day.
Mm.
So his birthday is December 31st, and he turned 5.
Ah.
My father's birthday, my father, who's still alive, my biological father,
Yeah.
his birthday is 30th.
Ah.
So within this, it's like raising my father to some degree,
Wow.
even through the pain
Yeah.
and the intersection, swirling of everything.
Right.
My son has a lot of traits of my father. So it's like the things I didn't necessarily get to see with my father growing up,
Mm-hmm.
or the proximity of like him being in the house up until I was in high school.
Right.
I'm seeing some of these things manifested in front of my eyes by my son, because my aunt, my father's sister, would tell me about, oh, your dad did that, and this is what he was like.
Mm.
And my mom would give me patches into when they were married.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two realities happening. It's the reality of now my wife is gone. I'm a single dad. I had people say to me, "What are you going to do with him?" And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Right.
Well, who's going to raise him? I was like, me? They're
Like you
like,
would.
you? I'm like, is it the homeless guy in the corner? Like, I'm confused. There are
Do
no
you
more
see
milkmen.
me? Am I
So
on the birth certificate?
yeah, so I'm like, what? I'm so confused. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna raise him. So, that was always an interesting thing. Um, like,
But
so
man.
we buried her in January
Yeah.
of 10,
Yeah.
and it was rough because she had got him. She enrolled him into a little like nursery thing
Right.
situation around where we live.
Right.
So we go back after the Christmas vacation. Judah's just like, blah, 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 blah. I said, hi, everybody. Hi. Judah, how was your vacation? Okay, my mother died. And he
Ah.
goes in with friends, and they're all just like, what? Because they knew her.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And they were, I mean, it was like
Yeah.
6 women were
Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He was just like, just doing his thing. So one thing he did one time was we were driving somewhere, Bo, and he
Mm-hmm.
goes, Dad, let's go down this block. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, what do we want to do? Well, let's go knock on doors and see if we can find a new mom. And I'm like, oh,
And what age was this?
uh, he was just turned 5.
Just turned 5. Oh wow.
So this was between nursery and kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
And, in that moment, it's the innocence
Yeah.
of how he was feeling.
Yeah.
So, yes, he loves his mother. Yes, he misses his mother. But to think that some things are easily replaceable. And I
Wow.
had to sit with him. And I just told him, I said, listen, son, it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
When you get older, we'll talk more about it. Um, but you and I look a little different. He's lighter than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you and I look different. I said, son, there's a very real reality. He's like, what's that, dad? I can't be knocking on doors looking for a mother looking like this. It's not going to work. You know? Like, really? I'm like, yeah, it might cause some problems. So maybe we come up with a plan and we can think about something else. Okay, Dad. So I was like, yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
but you know what that says? That his mom did such a good job as a role of a mother. He saw the importance of that position in his life. You
she
know,
was great. I mean,
I mean, she had to
even when
be, but I mean, because if she wasn't, he'd be like, I don't want to ever have another mother. You know what I'm saying? That's not a desire of my heart. You know what I'm saying? But
no,
knowing that he said that, you can tell she was phenomenal.
no, she was great. And even like when I'd work and she'd be with him,
Yeah,
I'd like, okay, here's $100. Just go into the street. Just go somewhere.
yeah,
Get your own time to yourself.
yeah,
I was like, oh, please, go do that. Do that for you.
yeah,
Do that for you. And he was like, but I want to take him with me. And I'm like, girl, that's not the point. You've been with this boy. But as I then go back, you never know what someone knows about um, their finality.
yeah,
Who, what, angel or someone might have
yeah,
talked to her and her.
yeah. It was
She
already
was
in
adamant.
spirit. Yeah,
Yeah, she was adamant, and she's like, Jasen, he's coming with me. And I'm like, listen, we ain't gonna fight over this. This is not the fight we're
you,
having.
you
You
think
want to take him?
you being a great
You still want
husband?
the money
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
You still want the $100? I'm gonna keep it. He's like, no,
You
give it.
being a
Take the
great
money.
husband. You being a great husband. You being thoughtful. You giving her some time for herself. You trying to pat yourself on the back. She's like, no, man, this is some divine things happening right here that I got to
I
spend
mean, she
time
blew up
in.
my plan. I'm like, look at me. Yeah, but I mean, it's like as any husband,
Yeah,
we try to do things. Dare I say, sometimes to impress our wives.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, you
yeah,
just think, wow,
yeah,
you are so spectacular.
yeah, yeah,
Oh my God. Meanwhile, you never a mistake. You're the best thing ever. Even to say something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you get something the opposite. Like, what were you supposed to do? I expect you to do it like, oh.
But I tell you, man,
uh,
you have been. I mean, just from that story. I mean, I'm still wrapped around the dates of he being 4, and that was your trauma, your age at 4.
yeah.
It's just like I'm thinking about that. Like,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, I'm like wow. I mean, the same age. You know what I'm saying? And that's a thing with fathers. I think that's a story with fathers is that they're so the roles is given that we have to be 100% selfless, thinking about and moving everybody else's life forward.
Yeah.
We forget that our story still has to be written, right? So and we think about, well, I don't have time to think about, because that's men always holding in stuff and holding in our issues, holding in our traumatic moments and stuff like that, and not understanding that as we are selfless, giving as much as we can to everyone else, our wives, our children, that the divine is still pulling our stuff together in behind the scenes. Because how could you even, like you said, you never even thought about that, and that's the first thing I thought about. I'm like,
Oh,
good
I never
night.
can.
I'm like, at the same, at 4, you see what I'm saying? His separation moment, he's experiencing that same thing, You know what I'm saying? From a father's vantage point instead of a son's vantage point.
Yeah. Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm am I overstepping? I mean, I didn't want to pull into
Oh,
that
brother.
revelation. It was that's a revelation to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I said,
I'm sitting in that for a minute. Like,
I mean, it's beautiful, wonderful, and sometimes painful how life is sometimes constructed.
yeah,
And when you think, like we're always part of someone else's tapestry.
yeah,
And then I sometimes, as you get older, you look at your own tapestry, your
uh huh,
own, accomplishments and
uh
just
huh,
life and
uh
people
huh,
have come and gone. And, you know, maybe in the third quarter of my life, there's a lot more reflection
uh huh,
of this. And what you said, like I said, that never crossed my path because it wasn't necessarily about me. Like you
yeah,
said, it's like we're doing so much for everyone else
mm-hmm,
that I can't see that similarly.
yeah,
I'm not able to. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
yeah.
Um,
You don't have time to, because we don't. I mean, this the thing, and this ain't. Yeah, I am gonna stand 10 toes on it. If you're doing what you're supposed to, you don't have time to think about yourself.
brother,
Then you realize after you have your little soapbox and kicking and scratching that is a privilege. You know what I'm saying? To not have to think about myself. It's a privilege.
I, I will give you some unfiltered information here like this that I had to sit with and hold myself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went through all this. He went and saw a school psychologist because
Right.
he had a hard time in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah.
Like every day I was getting calls. And when I didn't get calls, I felt it was a great day. But then the teacher would meet me in the parking lot, and I was like, ah. So I made sure he's with the school psychologist. We went to a grief counseling group for a year and a half, and I just was on autopilot as it related to me.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure my and the realization that I made later on in life was I was able to hide my pain and not deal with my genuine pain inside my identity of being a father.
Mm.
And I was like almost crying.
Yeah.
Um, because sometimes it's like you don't think, what about me?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people in my life that I love, a lot of people in life that care about me.
Mm-hmm.
But you sit with the pain of what it was like. And I tell my son even now, I'm like, a lot of people's son would say, well, you're young and you should get remarried. I said, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I was willing at that point in time when I met your mom
Mm-hmm.
to be everybody's Uncle Jason because
Mm-hmm.
I love children. I
Mm-hmm.
love babysitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, Lord, if I don't meet someone, it's okay. I've been around enough marriages that have not worked for
Right.
people trying to force the issue.
Yeah.
I don't want I
Exactly.
want to be with someone that when I'm with them and I turn over in bed and my breath is stinking and her breath is stinking, we still happy to be with each other.
That's right.
I can sit behind her and squeeze her butt when she's doing something else and run off like, who is that? And know it's me. Like I want to be able to play.
Yeah.
I want us to be able to be on the same couch. She's reading something, I'm
Mm-hmm.
reading something, but we got to be next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, if I don't have that, then I'll be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And no one wants to necessarily live alone or die alone. I said, but for me, I don't want to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my son, when your mom passed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I basically gave it to God that
Right.
whatever you gonna do, whatever you gonna do for me, Lord, I'll take.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote my stuff out and looked at it and refined it like I was writing a script.
Mm-hmm.
And she was everything and more. And I tell people, say, well, go online and do this. I said, listen, if I had success the first time, I can only have success the second time.
Mm-hmm.
I might not be as stunning as I was before. Like I said, I got trust.
Right.
Uh, one thing you don't know, Bobby, because you're taller than me, when you're short, your
Yeah.
spine compresses more. So now I'm
Jay,
not quite
Jay,
the
you're mess.
statue was 5'5" I was at Northwestern. Um, I'm quickly falling under the water. So, things like that are happening to me. But, all kidding aside, it's just like I try to push the point to my son, like the good things that work as far as when you're looking at relationships, you're
Mm-hmm.
dating seriously,
Mm-hmm.
um, holding yourself accountable, making sure your lady holds herself accountable. And if that's your person, you spoil them. You
Mm-hmm.
spoil them.
Right.
You spoil them, because they deserve it. They
Yeah.
deserve as much as you give. If you can give a cup of ice cream, guess what? Damn it, they get a cup of ice cream. If it's a car, if it's a home, whatever that looks like,
Right.
but it comes from this and it comes from a place of love and not a place of control. And I
That's
said,
right.
I never tried to control your mother.
Mm-hmm.
She chose to be with me. And then my sister would tell me something like when she passed, she said, Jason, you don't know how loyal she was to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? She's like, she was so loyal. Even sometimes when people would say stuff about you, she
Mm-hmm.
was ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
She never said.
Mm-hmm.
Like she wouldn't know necessarily how I would say stuff to protect her and just love on her. And part of that fatherhood thing is as much as Judah may not remember the bigger part of who she was,
Mm-hmm.
my gift would be like recounting stories and
Mm-hmm.
then say, hey, you will make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
It does happen. The person you sometimes start off with becomes someone different down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to hold to your core values.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have an idea in mind of what
Mm-hmm.
you want, what you're looking for, what you won't settle for,
Mm-hmm.
and then put your best foot forward. Because I said
Mm-hmm.
that's what I tried to do. And I said, even to this day, if I tell them there's a young lady I might like or talk to, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
good, good. Because your kids, not for you, of course, you got
Right.
beautiful Miss Ella,
Right.
but your kids want to see you with someone.
Yeah, they want
He
to see you
doesn't want to,
happy. Yeah.
yeah, I'm somewhere swirling in depression.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I tell him, I get that. I said, listen, it's still the way before you got here. I'm taking a little slower steps,
Mm-hmm.
but I know the process
Mm-hmm.
works.
Yeah. Uh, Me and Jay go back. We were teammates at Northwestern back in the early '90s. We was locker. What's that? We was right beside each other. 42, 43.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
we were locker room buddies. Yeah, right across.
42, 40, 41, 42.
Yeah, 41, 42. Yeah, 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 yeah. Golars was 43. Yeah. So yeah.
Go
So
Lars!
41. So we were old football mates together, and what really struck me about Jay was his heart, and that's why I asked him to talk about the word fatherhood, because it was going to come from a you know unconventional perspective. What you hear most of the time when you talk to men about fatherhood, they always put all these lists together about how you should raise your son and what you should your kids and what you should instill in them and how you need to be building for the future, and this whole rah rah rah, this whole stuff. But I knew Jay was going to bring a perspective from the heart, which we don't talk about fatherhood as much as about the heart of our kids and nurturing the heart of our kids. And it takes a special person to be able to do that. It takes an aware person to be able to do that. It takes a person who is dedicated and has a high priority for intentionality when it comes to that. Because when you're talking about raising the heart of your children, that's when you're going to sacrifice it all.
Yeah.
It's going to be more work raising the heart of your children than trying to prepare them for the future.
Yeah.
And that's facts. And that's why, there was, knowing when Jay was going to have his family, I knew this was going to be the story. No, I didn't know. Of course, you don't want the tragedy of him, losing his wife, but you knew this is the type of person he was going to be. And I think that's a discussion that most fathers, I don't want to say they avoid because they've never been taught that, man, raise the heart of my children. I'm responsible with nurturing the heart of them. Absolutely. Because that's the number one job as a protector, is protecting their heart. Because especially for us, most men, it's like, no, we got to protect and secure their future. But protecting their heart is right now. Is living with them in the moment. And that takes a lot. You know it.
Yeah, it takes patience, and
A
I know
lot.
that also as having a son and a daughter. I've always felt. Well, let me go back. I felt the past at least 20 years or
Mm-hmm.
so, a man's security or a boy's security
Mm-hmm.
and well-being comes from the dad.
Yeah,
And no greater place to look than in any local jail or penitentiary.
that's right.
Stories of men who were denied the opportunity,
Yeah,
through one form or another, to have that dad to hold their hand, to sit and talk with them, to throw a ball, to make pancakes, to go take a walk, to go camping, whatever it looks like.
right.
Having those spot welding watershed moments
Mm-hmm.
that some people take for granted.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of hurt. You've got a lot of men that have unhealed like childhoods,
right.
unhealed children in them
Right.
because those things were absent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then as men, how we project sometimes is going to be through violence
Right.
because you don't have the skills
Mm-hmm.
to know how to delineate things and how to work through things.
Yeah.
So you go what sometimes is natural for you,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
In the streets is violence. In the boardroom is
yeah,
accomplishment.
yeah,
It's the same thing.
true,
It's pride and ego both ways. You know what I'm
very
saying?
much.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the
And
same.
then one nowadays both can get you killed
Both
if
can
you're in the
get.
wrong board
Yeah, that's
and
right.
you say the wrong thing. Can we talk to you for a moment?
That's right.
Break car goes out. Like what happened?
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay.
yeah. Canceled in different forms.
Hello.
On the street and the boardroom, different type of ways.
I guess I ain't paying mortgage next week. That's don't worry about that. Worry about this light bill.
That's
You about
right.
to take me out.
That's
Please
right.
let me know before I stretch out on faith.
Man, you're a mess. Yeah, but that's why I chose you about this word because I knew you was going to talk about the heart of being a father, raising the heart, and especially in as we see the increase of the mental health with our young people.
Yes.
It's like what are we missing? What are we missing? What are we doing? What are we? Because it's so especially in this country, it's so accomplishment driven.
Yes.
That's supposed to be the source of all healing. That's supposed to be the source of all well being. But not being able to raise your children to just know how to be.
Yes.
That's one of the most biggest tragedies I see in fatherhood. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
it's okay to struggle and to
yeah,
teach your kids. This
yeah,
is how you get refined. It's
yeah,
okay to struggle.
yeah,
It's okay to fail. It's okay. It's not okay to not try.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
where you fail.
Exactly.
When you're afraid and you refuse to try,
Mm-hmm.
that's when failure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's that pressure of if I do something, then the return has to be an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because that's the carrot in everything. Just being doesn't mean you have to accomplish something.
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
and then we're not given that permission to do that, especially as a father. We don't know how to give our kids permission to do that. We always feel like
Yeah.
they have to be moving forward and accomplishing something all the time, you know, and that's not life. That's not peace. That's not, getting to know yourself. You know, that's just unrealistic.
But what you said is right because that all those things are keys to fatherhood, being able to show and verbalize those things to your son, have him to be able to sit with it for a while
Yeah.
and say, as you're going through these things, take a moment. You're in class, look at your friends. Take a
Yeah.
moment when you're talking, listen to them. Take a moment if you happen to be around your friends and their parents
Right.
and see how they interact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like to measure and see if you're better or they're worse,
Mm-hmm.
but just different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Different perspectives help.
Yeah.
And there isn't that doesn't happen like it used to with us because there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
There's so many distractions.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
constantly fighting all these extraneous distractions
Yeah.
just for the ears and the minds of our children who
Mm-hmm.
become teenagers, adults, and everything else.
Yeah.
And is it done on purpose? Yeah, it's done on
Oh,
purpose.
absolutely.
Some of it are nefarious and
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
line means.
Mm-hmm.
Some is marketing and other foolishness. But it instead of giving up, it kind of makes us adjust to what we need to do to operate now within this system instead of just complaining. Oh, social media. If it wasn't for
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what? So
Yeah.
what are we gonna do about
Right.
it to be able to get through to our kids
Mm-hmm.
and get through to other kids who maybe don't have parents who are present? How can we then be that pebble
Mm-hmm.
in the pond and send out those ripples
Mm-hmm.
to other people maybe in our periphery? Because now the blessings you give to your son and daughter, they might be able to give even to their peers.
Yeah.
Forget about
Yeah.
they become parents.
Yeah.
What does it look like when they take wise counsel from their mother and father
Mm-hmm.
and then set a word aside to their friends and
Mm-hmm.
now have friends meditate on that?
Yeah.
I think it just becomes more crucial that we're intentional, or
Yeah.
we aim intentional
Yeah.
about things we do, the company we keep.
Yeah.
The it's the smallest parts of saying I love you
Right.
before your son leaves, before your wife leaves, your daughter, she's on the phone. Hey baby, just call and say I love you.
Right.
Because you never know, even for your children, when they're in that spot,
Mm-hmm.
to hear that. Like I just sometimes shoot up a text to my son, like I
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he'll ask what you want. I'm like, boy, like I love you. I'm
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
kidding. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that means a lot to them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just once again, it's that parent in us
Yeah.
that we can express different ways of just still reaching out and being like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
Yeah. But the thing is, you have to, you know, it that doesn't start overnight. I talk to
you.
a lot of fathers and stuff, and they gotten issues and stuff with their teenage boys and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, then when did we start? Because when you start late in that, it's gonna be it's 50-50, bro.
Yeah, it is.
because they counting down the days they can get out the house and get away from you.
And that's real.
That's a lot closer than
That's real.
me believing that we can have some type of relationship.
I mean,
And it's tough.
it's so tough when you're in those situations,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you almost have to come with hat in hand, and there should be a certain level of contrition
Yeah.
if you're really trying to have that relationship with your son.
Yeah.
And we know that 16, 17, 18, and you have not done it up until now, you have to humble yourself.
Yeah.
If you, then you can have that. But if your ego is an issue, it's going to rub up against that and make it so uncomfortable for you.
Oh
But
yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
if you
Absolutely.
have full sight of
Yeah.
the goal and
Mm-hmm.
that you
Mm-hmm.
have,
Mm-hmm.
it'll turn out better. But
Yeah.
for a lot of men, well, if he don't want to do it, and he don't want to, come meet me halfway. Oh, you're the father.
Yeah.
You set.
You set the
What are you
tone.
talking
What do you talk? Why do we hear that a lot? We hear a lot from father. They gotta meet me halfway. They're a man now.
about?
They gotta come to me. They're a man. They need a so and so. So now you're the dad. You. I put it this way. This is what I usually throw back to him. What if God told us that?
Yeah,
Where would we be?
wouldn't be here.
Hmm? What if he told if you want to get me, you need to meet me halfway. I'm not gonna come get you. Didn't he say he leave the 99 and go after the one?
That's an ultimate parent,
That
and
and that's what you learn. That's what you learn raising the heart of your kids because it's such a daily grind.
it
It's
is.
because one thing I ask my kids. This is one thing I learned is you ask your kids when they come home. How you doing? They be like fine, fine. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. Okay. And what they're doing is they going down the checklist. They're not being rude. They really going down the checklist. Okay, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
all right in my grades. Practice was okay. So and so was all fine. So really they answering your question. They just going down the checklist. Then you
Exactly.
ask them, well, how's your heart doing today? Then you get a different answer. Frustrated, sad, mad. And what happened made you mad? And that's when it goes into the conversation story. Then you build that relationship of somebody's really concerned about me instead of what I'm doing and what I'm accomplishing. So that becomes a more valuable thing to you. It's like my daughter. She should tell her friends all the time. She's like, well, what do you like doing? What do you like doing in your free time? She's like, oh, I like going taking rides with my parents. We take rides, long drives. For what? So we can just sit up and talk. They actually listen to you. Absolutely.
Hello.
You actually have an opinion. Oh yeah,
Hello.
absolutely. She says
Hello.
it's the time of my life. It's the most
Ain't
exciting
every
time.
house Jackson? Ain't every house like the Jackson household?
Every
Hello.
yeah, yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's our funnest times is getting in the car and taking a long drive.
Yeah. And that's stuff that no matter what you and Miss Ella have done for the trips and all that,
Yeah,
that's what sticks.
that's what
That
sticks.
right there sticks with them.
That's what sticks.
Because like, and they'll talk to each other. Remember, mom and dad just take us for long drive. Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that so much.
yeah,
And it's those in those moments where it's just you being you.
yeah.
It's
That's
just
it.
Miss Ella.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to be nobody else trying to put
Mm-hmm.
on airs for them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are earnest, when you are vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
when you're able to see your children and value them,
Mm-hmm.
it's like this is it. If
This is it.
I'm not getting this somewhere outside,
No.
why I got to get outside?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to you, I mean, I know this is your podcast, but I'm giving you big ups because it's one thing to have headphones on and the mic in front of you and talk
Right.
about something. It's to actually do it
Yeah.
and see the
Every day as a father, you're setting the tone for how that day is going to be. Like I wake up every morning and and I make sure this is even them. They in college and your wife. I wake up first one to get up. Make sure that she got herself together what she need, lunch made, coffee. You know what I'm saying? Son got some stuff going on before he headed out because the first person that should be serving is you. You know, a lot of people say, well, I go to work, I go to work. Well, no, they know that you go to work to provide, but serving is two different things.
Bobby, you and I are aligned so much. I
It's two
sat
different things. Two
Arthur, I
different
sat
things.
in the office, principal and vice principal, and we just talked like just off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him every day I come, I say, how can I be of service?
Yeah, serving.
And if I got to serve lunch, I don't care.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
the janitor's out for 2 hours
yeah,
and I
yeah.
got to come,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if there's a teacher that's out
yeah,
for an hour or two over class, I don't care.
yeah, 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 yeah.
If there's a kid in the hallway who's crying,
Right.
I'm gonna ask them what's wrong, get on my
Yeah,
knees. If
yeah.
I got a hug,
Mm-hmm.
if I got a hold their hand, I'm gonna do that because
Yeah.
I'm here to.
To serve. Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of fathers this is where they kind of miss it because they think, well, if I'm providing, I'm serving. It's like you was gonna do that anyway if you was gonna have a family or not. You still gotta go work.
Oh,
So you was gonna do that regardless.
oh, you still up a gas in that car? What you
you
talking
still, you
about?
still you still
I
got a
thought
roof
anyway.
over your head. You
Oh,
was gonna go to
put
work.
gas in that.
If you want to provide for them, you got to provide for yourself. So that's not special. When
You
you
buying
take,
wings
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
yourself?
yeah,
You gonna buy wings?
you're not doing anything different. You know,
Yeah.
when you take that point of service, like this is how you serve. I set the tone of service in my house, so they know what it looks like. So we
Exactly.
serving everybody serving each other in the home. There's no asking, wait to be something be done. People see something need to be done, they go do it.
Yep.
I had to set that tone
Yes. Early, and often.
early, because
And
this is the thing.
often.
This is the thing. Because our culture says mothers are supposed to do that without any help or assistance. But when they see a father do it, that goes against the whole culture norm. That feels like that means everybody should be doing it.
Yes. Yes.
So they think the mother, she should hold that by herself.
Yeah.
So that's how culture is set. You see what I'm saying? That's how it's set. So for a father to break that mold, he has to do it to feel like, oh man, everybody should be doing it then. If he's doing it, that means everybody should be doing it.
But it's your heart that determines that.
Yeah.
And this is why sometimes people stand out. Even when I would come home from a hard day at work, I would make a full meal for Tam and you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know she's doing it. And
Yeah.
I know he's been running her crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
why I hear stuff hanging in here?
Right.
Like, who is you? I'm like, no, I know who my son is, and she's been driving her crazy. I'm like, baby, what you want? Oh, could you make such a? Oh, thank you so much. Spaghetti,
Yeah.
roast chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
They would be expected to do the same.
Exactly.
Work, come home, take care of the kids.
Right.
And then we're fine with that.
Right.
For me, I'm like, my kids across the board, my son, too.
Right.
My son across the board looks like.
Right.
And you do this, trust me, you will see more appreciation out of your partner.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
She doesn't have to ask you to take out the garbage. She doesn't have to ask you to fold clothes out the dry. You do it.
You do it.
You do
it. You do it. Now my kids, they step in and do stuff where stuff needs to be done because it's a norm. It's not taking me out from what I want to do. It's an opportunity to ease the burden for somebody else in the family, and they can't wait to do it. That's a tone setter. Those are the things. You know what I'm saying? Of fatherhood. Of it's all, and that's and like you said, that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing.
It is.
And fatherhood is about not, and that's the thing. We think about fatherhood as an event that as something the results that we expect for the future, instead of what's happening right now.
Being present.
Being present. And then what we do is we put the burden on mom to hold the responsibility of the present. while we get the excuse of thinking we got the responsibility of the future. I don't know where we got that in our head that we think we can control the future. I don't know where that's a,
Good statement because I don't know either.
you see what I'm saying? We gotta be at one in being in the present. You see what I'm saying? Operating, working as a team. That's how it works, man. That's how it works. That's what makes fatherhood dope, man. To me, is that opportunity to be right there. Being intentional. In the fight. You know what I'm saying? In the struggle. Getting the triumphs. Every day, hearing about all the growth. Not the tangible growth, but the inner growth. You there for all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it dope, man.
And
That's what
there's
makes it
nothing
so
better than
dope.
talking to your children and you can hear them smiling on the phone,
Yeah,
talking to them about something. You can hear them smiling.
yeah,
And you don't have to say anything, but you know it. And it just like gives you this like little like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm very thankful for this conversation, and I realize what fatherhood really means. Fatherhood is a process of inviting our children into our heart, sharing with them the good, the bad, and the ugly with no shame, boastfully expressing our victories and triumphs, but still having open and honest conversations about mistakes and hardships and how they impacted our lives, being transparent about current struggles and how we are fighting to overcome them, and allowing our kids to explore our wisdom to use at their own discretion. A father's heart is a place of safety and security, but he took no part in building it. He does not provide for this place. He can't protect this place. He does not own this place. This space is a free gift from God that allows us to connect with our children with no interference from the outside world. It's where we meet face to face with no judgment, full of abundance of understanding and unconditional love. His heart is a place already ordained by God to a haven where children can find themselves and their identity. A father is just a gatekeeper to what has already been created. Our job is to give our kids that access and grow and thrive, to find peace, walk boldly in wholeness, and consistently be reminded why I am here and I have a purpose. The word fatherhood is dope to me for this specific reason. It's the pathway to which we discover ourselves and who we were called to be. And when we nurture the hearts of our children, we are nurturing our own as well.